The Bible is full of curiosities, and some of them we don't even realize. For example, did you know that there are exactly 365 chapters in the entire Bible? One chapter for every day of the year. Coincidence? Maybe. Divine inspiration? You decide. In this series, we are going to look at some of the amazing things contained in the Bible that make it unlike any other book. And we begin with the very first book, Genesis. Did you know that the name Genesis isn't actually in the Bible? The word Genesis comes from the Greek translation of the word Bereshit, which means in the beginning. This is how most people discover the first book of the Bible, but the name Genesis didn't appear until the book was part of the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible that was completed around 100 BC. The book of Genesis is where we learn about the creation of the world, humanity's fall into sin, God's judgment against mankind, and the beginnings of God's plan of salvation through the line of Seth after the fall of Adam and Eve. It also introduces us to some of the most well-known stories in all of human history, like the story of Noah's Ark and the Tower of Babel. There are 50 chapters in the book of Genesis. In these 50 chapters, there are 2,569 verses. How do I know this? Because I counted. Okay. But there's more. In the book of Genesis, there are 13 genealogies, which account for the origin of the people groups mentioned in the book. There are also two creation accounts, one in chapters 1 and 2. Some people use this to argue against the historicity of the Genesis account. However, the two accounts complement each other and together form a beautiful picture of how God created the world and man. Chapter 1 gives a general overview of creation and its purpose, while chapter 2 zooms in on the garden and the creation of Adam and Eve, the first humans. Genesis also contains the first law given by God, the law of the Sabbath found in chapter 2. Verse 2-3, God blessed the seventh day and made it holy because on it he rested from all his work that he had done. So God said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. Now, many Christians live their lives unaware of the Sabbath. But did you know that the first law given to man is still binding on believers today? Jesus said, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. We can find rest in the Sabbath, and we should remember it and keep it holy. Hey, I hope this has been a blessing to you. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode in this series, where we look at the book of Exodus. Until then, God bless you, and remember, you are awesome.